should get rid of the other two shows, not to confuse anybody. Let's see, live. Okay. Let's see. Okay, yeah, we fixed the problem on here. Let's see. Live. Hmm. Let's see. Okay, I don't want to confuse people. I just did a couple of shows, but I was testing. Okay, I gotta get. All right, no, whatever. I'll get rid of the other shows though on that. Okay, well, I'm going to be back and forth. I'm doing multitasking at the moment. You guys want to start off with any questions, whatnot? Yeah, there are some people that have been removed from my show, so it's going to be very limited. So it gives a chance for new subscribers to basically come on here on the show. So that's good. Either way, it just doesn't matter. Again, the discussion has been more heavy on what's happening on YouTube as far as the advantages of making a couple of sawbucks on here. And it's really gotten to a point and worse, and there's a lot of speculation about the future of YouTube next year. I mean, people are getting maybe 10% of what they used to get on their overall AdSense and so forth. So they're really being taken advantage of on here. So I guess a lot of people are thinking, is it worth doing YouTube anymore? Go to another platform. And as I said, the new platform is TikTok. Who would have thought? But it's popular among young people and older people. Mostly younger, I guess. But it's becoming so big that it's competing with YouTube now. YouTube is now trying to compete with them, but they're on a losing battle. Bigger boys, bigger dogs, that have bigger channels are losing a lot of revenue and they're not liking it. Well, I don't blame them. They've been on for how many years and they built up their channel. They're making some good money. Now it's getting to the point where they're not, number one, wanting to do as many shows anymore because they're just not making the money. And number two, they're starting to rethink to go to a different platform. That's kind of what's happening on here. Okay. That's kind of what's happening. Okay, I'll be back. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, basically, if we're going to continue doing shit on here, trying to get new subscribers because the deadbeats that I've had on here have not been contributing to the channel, and we're fighting a losing battle, all of us to begin with, that has a YouTube show on here. I given a big speech about what's going on with revenue now, and it's kind of making a lot of people think twice about continuing their shows. It's not that I make a lot of revenue on here. I don't, but I've noticed that whatever AdSense revenue I've been making on here has been drastically reduced. I know what I normally make on here. It isn't much, but I've noticed the changes, and there definitely is changes going on. And what's that one guy's show that comes on all the time? I forgot his name. He did a show on this just the other day about that, and he said even on his show, he's down to maybe 10% on his AdSense revenue. And he doesn't make a lot to begin with, but he does notice that he's down to like making 10% of what he used to make on here. And I think that's going to be swaying a lot of people in a different direction. Anyway, I started off the morning show. I'll get rid of the other ones because this is more of a test show. My monetization wasn't showing up on here. I had to go to my settings and reset it again. For some reason, it was off and whatever. Anyway, that was a whole story while we reset the channel and came back on again to do another live stream. But the only information I could update you on the other shit going on is that I guess a decision is going to be making as to our good friend that happens to be behind detention bars that his because of the 5 cybercrime counts. There's talk that he's going to be transferred at some point. My lawyer had spoke to me, and he has spoken to an agent, and pretty much because of the 5 cybercrime charges, apparently, there's eventually going to be a new venue. Well, I can't find the right word. Well, a new location because of the cybercrime charges, because they can't keep him there forever. There was a guy downstairs that was in for immigration, and he wound up being transferred to Bikitan. But since his court case is going to be in Bareilly, Your guess is as good as mine, seriously, as to where he'll wind up being put. I don't know. I don't think the court system wants to go through a lot of crap if he's located too far from the court facility, like being in Mandawi would be considered from Bareilly to be quite a distance, to be shifting him back and forth for hearings and all that shit. So I don't know what the nearest facility is from Bareilly. I don't know. I'm just being honest with you. I don't know. I don't know if Bikitan will be the place. I don't know if that's the answer in his case, but it's evident that he's going to be transferred sometime in the near future from where he is to another facility. And your guess, like I said, was be as good as mine because my attorney wasn't clear on it himself because he just talked to an agent. They didn't give him any information where. They just said that no, because of the cybercrime charges, he's going to be transferred somewhere else with no other information other than that. So I apologize. I can't give you that information. I'd like to know myself out of curiosity, but we'll see. And there's been also a lot of complaints, apparently, that they're aware of. Oh, yeah, boy, are they aware of it. About his usage of the phone and all that shit. He's been hiding his phone. So chances are his phone privileges, they'll search his room, whatever they got to do, but they'll probably take away his phone this time. Well, especially if he's going to be transferred. I mean, they'll be looking into this. Where will he be transferred? I don't know. Will it be convenient for anybody to visit him where he's going to be? I don't know. I don't know any answers. I know as much as you. But apparently, they could have left him there for a long time, but a lot of people who've been in a Mandawi detention center did not stay there as long as he has. I mean, the 28th of this month is going to be 6 months. And a lot of people are pretty perplexed about this. Why is he there that long? Why is there not any movement on this situation? Again, I can't answer that question. I'm actually very surprised that they didn't initially just put him in Bikitan because they have the immigration place over, immigration detainees there too. So basically, it was based on, originally you saw the newspaper articles when he got arrested, and they were saying that he was in Taguig, however you pronounce that, which is Manila, and they made a mistake on that. Maybe he got lost in the shuffle with paperwork or something on there. I have no idea. Is that possible to happen? Yeah, that is very possible to happen. You get lost in the system when you get arrested here in the Philippines. That's not a good thing for anybody. And no matter who you are, when you don't know where the hell you stand, you're one place, but then everything's up in the air. You're thinking, well, how long am I going to stay here? I've been here going to be 6 months. That's a half a year coming up. I mean, Jesus Christ, but because new charges have been introduced, that changes everything. That's all I know. I'm just giving you the information I got. I can't give you anything more than that. I can make something up, but I'm not going to make anything up. I'm not going to. If you wonder why you're not able to comment on my show, it's because I've pretty much figured out who the devotees of my channel really are. And if you want to call it starting fresh, that's what we're doing on here, because the lack of activity of contributions to the show had made that decision for me. And either way, it doesn't really matter. Okay, we're not going to get rich on here. We're not a huge show. I never expected to, and I don't depend on that. So if it means doing shows without getting super chat and that kind of appreciation, well, I guess that's what's going to have to be, or we just don't do any shows at all, because I have looked at my analytics, and as I said, I'll give you an example. It's just a matter of days. Okay, just a matter of days. Well, I had a small amount in there. It was about 370 something. A matter of days later, it went down to 307. Now down to 224 for the estimated revenue. I'm saying shit. Even the 375 initially was shit money altogether. But all of a sudden I'm down to 224, somewhere around there. Anyway, it's ballpark around there somewhere. So I'm thinking it's just not worth it. You got to have a reason to continue your show, okay? I don't mind, and as a hobby, just doing a show and just rapping a little bit about this and that and coming up with a few topics and all that shit. But that gets old after a while. And as you know, what stimulates people on their shows is when they're actually making money. And who's gonna really bow out of their show if they're making some decent money on their show? Not many people are gonna just bow out and say, "I'm just gonna leave this all." There was this one guy. I even did a show on that. There was a guy on here that just left his show. He was making buku money, and just left his show. You don't see that happening very often, do you? Why are you going to go away from making that little secondary income every month if you're actually making some good money? That's a surprise to me. I forgot what the name of this show was, but I did a show talking about that. I can't come up with the name, but I think this is going to be a trend on here now. And I hate to repeat myself again, but yeah, the TikTok apparently is the new direction, and YouTube is just not being generous anymore. Some people are saying by the first of the year they might get rid of AdSense revenue altogether, and that's not gonna be a good. Well, it's gonna be a deterrent for a lot of people to start a show, and for those that have one on and they're losing that much revenue, it's not going to be a good direction for their show. So, common sense, if you're not making money here and you could find a different platform to make money on and actually make better money, it's reasonable to say that they're going to go in that direction. So, that's kind of an update on that stuff. Yeah, I just the willpower is just not there to be making a bunch of shows on here. I mean, what do I do? I come on here and I update you about some guy that's incarcerated. We all know the story on that. Okay, we know that he's not going anywhere soon. The chances are he's going to be, well, let's call it the penal system. He's going to be in the penal system for quite a while. So, how much more can I really elaborate on that? Unless something happened and they did actually transfer him, like my lawyer was saying that seems to be upcoming for a different location because he's going to be in Burley in the court system there. So I don't know. I'm just repeating myself over and over again here. That's even getting tedious for me. I wish I could give you better information, but I really can't. But you guys are excellent on finding out information. That's what you live for, some of you guys. I guess you could probably figure that out on your own. But should there be a continuation of my shows is the question. If I'm not getting the satisfaction out of it as I used to, and I'm noticing that my revenue, as small as it always is even more minuscule than it is, then it goes to say that is it really worth doing any more shows on here? Except like an occasional show, if I did make a trip somewhere and as a documentary style or something, to do something on a trip or something just for the hell of it, to share something. But I think I have to keep on asking myself that question every single time I come on here. And I mean, this is every single time I come on. Is it worth doing any more shows? Man, I totally understand if I was just kicking ass and people were sending donations all the time. I mean, that gives you incentive to stay on. And man, I've talked about this time and time again. I'm just Mr. Redundancy here. That's for damn sure. It's been something that's been eating at me because there has to be some reward for the time that you put in on your shows. And I do believe that, I do. I think live streaming, and I've always said that from the beginning, was in a sense the worst thing that could happen to YouTube because there were better quality shows when people were just doing uploads and you'd look forward to their shows. They weren't doing it every day because it takes time to upload your show, and some people decide to do some editing, and there's a lot of work involved there. So when live streaming started to come about and became very popular, people said, "Man, I can just go 1, 2, 3 and be live, and everybody could hear me, and I could have interaction with my audience, live, real time interaction with my audience instead of doing a upload and all you can get is the comment section." But then they were afforded, things like super stickers, super thanks, super chat, and things like that. And they would add to their platform things like PayPal and other formats in there to make money. But it's really come to the point here where I'm at the end of my rope as far as doing shows. and I can't do this forever. I mean, honestly, I'm not getting any younger. I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be Terrence. You know, Terrence is like what 82 years old now, and he's been blogging for how long? But then again, Terrence for a long while was making some big money on it. Got in trouble on that. In fact, I'm not even sure that he allows comments on his show anymore. Terrence, Flannery, whatever his name is, big time. Oh, he had an audience of religious people, all kinds of shit. People donating to his channel and just going hog wild. I haven't even tuned into a lot of other channels. Tim K, I don't know what's going on with him. Channels like that, I have not tuned into really. And my interest is going to the wayside, of not listening to Tim K and other popular channels. Then it seems my own personal interest is kind of going down the shit too, as far as what I want to listen to on YouTube. So generally, a lot of the YouTube I've been listening to has been on my television set in the living room when I'm trying to find some movies to watch. And that's been where I've spent my time on YouTube lately. Actually, for quite a while. Yeah. Anyway, you don't see any comments on here because I got rid of a whole lot of people that were on here just to antagonize me. And they weren't being very generous at all, but they were being generous to other shows. So I figured, well, they're here as trolls, so I'll treat them as trolls, and they're gone. And that's pretty much it. Jerry, of all people, is still able to come on. I don't know why. I don't know. I got this weird relationship with Jerry, Jerry has talked shit about me in the past, and I didn't like his interview with Brevis. Well, apparently Brevis is one of the new targets on here. Not that he's never been a target, but apparently there's people who found out exactly where he lives. And I had an address for him, but somebody came through with something a little more precise. It could have been Brevis himself that was putting out that information under a sock account name or something, saying exactly where he lives and all that. But apparently, from some little sources I have, that a lot of information seeking is going on. Whether it was a troll, said his name is actually David. Okay, now that could have been him himself trying to bait people. I don't know. I couldn't tell you the truth on that. But apparently people are doing some pretty heavy duty research on this guy, and he's one of the new targets on here now. But he did that all by himself, really. I mean, not many people like the guy, apparently, and for good reason. I'm one of them. I don't give a shit about Brevis either way. He doesn't intimidate me, and he never really has. I don't know what his problem is, but that's his own personal problems. I'm not going to make comment about him as a father either. I'm not even going to go there. I could say a whole lot of things about that, but there's something just awfully wrong with that situation, the relationship, and everything else. I don't know. Like we say that with a lot of people, why would some woman want to be with an asshole like that? But hey, we got a prime example of that, and this guy's in jail, and he's got a girlfriend that's supporting him morally or whatever. We can't figure that one out either, because we can think of 100 reasons why she shouldn't be with him, and something smells a little bit fishy going on with that situation. But it's a personal choice a woman has to make. And just like every other girlfriend that he's had, they all broke up with him once they actually woke up. It seems that he has a magical thing going on there. He gets these women into a coma of some sort, and they believe everything he says. I'm innocent. I never did this, even though you present to the girlfriend all the evidence in the world that proves that the guy's a bum, he's a scumbag, he committed a lot of crimes, and that there's no future with him. But that's an individualistic thing that the girlfriend's got to make their decisions on. We can't make those decisions. We could advise, and we could try to wake this person up out of their coma, but it's actually really none of our business to do so. She has to find out on her own, and as the girlfriends he's had before have found that on their own and made their own decisions. Why staying in that relationship would not be productive for their future, and for the various reasons involved, why it would not be productive for their future. Some of them are very obvious, as you know. But you can't control what people think and what they do. That's just life. But like a lot of people on here, have the same thought. Why waste your life where you can't go anywhere with a boyfriend that gets into trouble all the time and is sucking money off people all the time and will continue to do so, and where you're hoping that the person changes, but they just can't change. They can't change. And some people just can't change. Even though they find themselves in a situation like being incarcerated, and you would think that would, it would produce some kind of, I don't know, sensibility of some sort to say that, man, I really fucked up and I just can't do this anymore. And I got to change my ways. But I guess in a sense for him, it's a little bit too late to try to change his ways. They say it's never too late to change, but at least as far as his legal situation is, I personally don't see how that's going to change. I mean, people talk about different things, unless you're going to do something illegal and pay off the justice system or something, and some people do that, but I can't see him doing that because that could put him into even more trouble. I'm not saying he's done that, so disclaimer on that, but I can't see, again, anyway, unless there's some divine intervention, and I don't know why anything divine would help him out, to be honest with you, but his situation is what it is. And by the way, John Blaze, go fuck yourself. You're Larry. Larry, you're a fucking idiot. You know that? You really are a fucking idiot. Just wanted to tell you that. Telling people to go to the courtroom for my other hearing. What are you supposed to accomplish with that? That's interfering with a case, and it's not going to help the individual who happens to be a respondent. It's not going to help him at all. It's going to look like this was planned. And to a judge, this is not going to look very well. So you're not thinking very clearly. You don't like me, that's fine. I don't like you either, dude. Okay, and you're not the most popular person on the planet either. Your show statistics show that. But you seem to have some mental problems of your own, for what I could see. If that's all you can talk about is me on your show and trying to get people to show up at a court hearing. To prove what? To do what? Can't go in the courtroom. I mean, what's that all about? It's an ego booster or something? I don't know. I don't think you're all there, John. Some strange emotional level. I can't pinpoint it, but your thoughts are not very stable, and you jump around from one direction to another. That fence jumping shit. You don't know what you want. You just want the attention on your show to build it up. And why are you taking donations on your show on the side? You claim you got all this money, right? I could say the same thing to you, okay? Me, I don't care either way. To me, if somebody donates to my show, it's just showing appreciation for you, who claims to have this and that, and all the doodads and the fancy granddaddy barbecue and this and that. You like to show off your riches. I may talk about some good points in my life, but you try to impress everybody with the fact of this and that and properties you bought. No, properties your girlfriend bought. And properties is plural, okay? How about property, if at all? And we caught you in a lie in the past, saying that it's it's in your name and all this other shit, the land. Well, we caught you in a lie on that because the land can't be in your name, married or not. So quit the bullshitting, Larry Evans, if that's even your real name. Who the fuck knows on here who the hell is who anymore, really? But information is going through. A lot of people are doing research on certain people on here, and they're finding out some very interesting information. And I'm sure this will be all exposed in the future. So, hey, the people who are doing research on other people, I'd worry about yourself. If you're trying to be anonymous on here, it doesn't always work that way. You know what I'm saying? Okay, guys, that's my show. And as far as the direction of this show, continuation of it, I'm not going to say yes or no. I'm going to be fair about it this time. I'm not going to say yes or no that I'm going to do any more shows on here. I'm not going to go that direction. I've done that a gazillion times. If the revenue is not there, I got to have a reason to continue the show. I'm actually just tired of talking about the same rhetoric. It's not that I don't come up with topic matter, I do. But even that gets old after a while. I don't know. I've said everything I could about the Philippines and living out here, from the cost of living to the sexpats coming here to the abuse that people are giving to the good Filipinos out here. Cost of living, products, this and that. I'm not sure what there is to talk about it, This is a very geared channel on the Philippines genre, and you feel obligated to talk a lot about the Philippines because it is a Philippines channel. But realistically, as with anybody else's channel, you can only talk so much about this and that in the Philippines unless you're actually doing shows where you're traveling. Those are more successful, where they're showing people what this town is all about. Philly in the Philippines did a couple of good shows. One of them I liked. It was fairly recent, where he was going different places and giving people information how to get there and what it was all about. I'm not a fan of Philly in the Philippines, but he is capable of producing a few good shows every now and then if he concentrates on it. It's that kind of material that gets viewers. That's really informative. But when you just become totally redundant, okay, I'm here today. Like Bummer is, getting his girlfriend. She's doing ridiculous shows, even they're 3 seconds long, because he instructed her to keep his show going and get some viewers going and all that shit, and trying to push his PayPal or whatnot. And she's coming on doing cooking, or just walking down the street, not even a minute show, just to get his show aired because he's trying to get monetized again. I mean, that is absolutely absurd. It's ridiculous. And it's also extremely desperate. I don't think she wants to do this shit. She has nothing to say on her shows. There's really nothing to say. She's cooking up some swill. Who the fuck wants to watch that? Okay. Well, I'm in Cebu now. And maybe it lasts for about a minute or two, then cuts off. Who the hell wants to watch that? Well, that's Barry's way of just trying to get his show out there to try to get back the needed views and so forth and so on to get his monetization. That's pretty goddamn desperate as far as I'm concerned. That's really desperate. Anyway, we're out of here. Time will tell what we're going to be doing with this show here. Will this be the last, or will it be the beginning of many more? I know how many times has Frank said that. Quite a bit, actually. But it is what it is. And YouTube is not being fair to people who are doing shows. They're not. They're not making it attractive for anyone, small channels or big, to stay on here to benefit in any way. But that's an individualistic thing up to these YouTubers or vloggers, if they want to continue their shows or not. I know people are dropping out. I've heard it. It's not worth it. And they're all going to a different platform, which, of course, we expected it. TikTok. I'm not doing no goddamn TikTok shit, I'll tell you that. Okay, we out of here. You guys have a good day.